Vaush's girlfriend. Vaush's girlfriend makes Andrea Dworkin. No, hold on. Vaush's Dworkin.
Who's Andrea Dworkin?
I know, but that's the joke. The joke is that you're not going to know who these people are. Vaush's girlfriend makes Andrea Dworkin. Oh God, how did I say this before? Vaush's girlfriend looks like. Oh no, Vaush's girlfriend looks like Andrea Dworkin, and then you say, "Who's Andrea Dworkin?" I say, "Well, let me say this: Andrea Dworkin makes Valerie Solanas look like Gloria Steinem." And then you go, "Oh."
Word. I'm guessing they're all fat.
No, Gloria Steinem's hot. Valerie Solanas is interesting, but she shot Andy Warhol.
Is that a conspiracy or like
no, she shot Andy Warhol.
Convicted and everything?
Well,
I didn't know if
psychiatric.
I didn't know if it was Courtney Love style.
She was a stalker, but she did it as an act, a feminist act. She wrote a book called The Scum Manifesto.
You think Courtney did that shit, right?
No.
No?
No, dude. You ever seen her on Howard Stern?
What?
Dude, she can't.
I think Courtney Love
she
did
makes.
that shit.
Or
it wasn't Kurt.
She makes me look like Vaush.
I don't think Kurt Cobain killed himself then.
I think
there's a lot of bad shit against her.
I think a guy who wrote a song called "I Hate Myself and I Want to Die."
I'm not saying he didn't have it in him. But one thing he did have in him was like way over a lethal dose of heroin. He was on that much heroin and was able to shoot himself in the face with a shotgun.
If she could get away with that, then I could get away with robbing a bank.
I think you could if that's the case. Because I mean, it would help if you were a fucking pretty celebrity blonde bimbo, but. Unfortunately, you're missing 3 of those things. You're just a bimbo. All right, back to the vid.
There were liberals who would make jokes about Obama during the Obama presidency. Conservatives don't really do that about Trump, like ever. It just has to be venerant idealization. Like they can only worship, you know? They can't like critically examine things they like, which is another component of being funny, by the way. Punching up is easy for most people.
Self-analysis.
Punching down can hurt. Like, if you're just making fun of, like, a homeless pregnant woman, like, any humor value, and there can be jokes made there, and don't get me wrong, but...
If a homeless chick gets pregnant, do you think she panhandles, like in Beverly Hills, just for the school district?
You think she charges the baby rent? Nailed it.
I'm a commie.
You think, no, that's definitely happened. I was going to say, do you think a homeless person has ever, like, put a fake pregnancy belly and used that to get, but that's definitely happened.
Steal steaks?
To just get extra donation, dude. People see a pregnant broad and they want to throw some shit at her.
You ever think a fetus has ever stuck her hand out of a vagina and stole, like, candy? Stop it!
It would require her, like, breaking through, like, a bunch of layers of stuff. And the mom would have to be, like, crowning. And, like, the baby would have to have arm strength that isn't just... There's a lot that goes into it. You wouldn't understand.
I don't really know how sex works.
You don't get babies. It's okay.
I got a homeless chick pregnant.
What was his name? Got him. That doesn't make any fucking sense. God, dude. I got someone pregnant. Really? What's his name? That's a pretty funny bit.
It's good.
But any humor value is kind of undercut by this weird feeling that you're just taking pleasure from the suffering of another less fortunate person. But that's every conservative joke. That's every joke they tell. It's always that. It's always these groups. And they get away with it.
Although, hey, real quick, Team America is one of the funniest films ever made. It's also one of the most effective pieces of pro-neoconservative propaganda ever made.
Because they get through across...
It was an argument. It was an argument for the invasion of Iraq. I mean, dude, one of the funniest bits is they were climate change deniers, and one of the funniest bits they had was Al Gore's Man Bear Pig.
Are Matt Parker and Trey Stone actually climate change deniers?
Well, they say that they've changed their mind. They did a whole episode where they apologized to Al Gore and all this shit, but I think too little, too late.
Really? You think they're that crazy?
I think that they got made fun of in their personal lives for it.
No, I mean, but you think they really honestly believe that?
They did believe that.
God, I don't think I'm crazy enough to be successful, dude. Fuck. That's crazy. I didn't know that.
We're crazy enough to be moderately successful.
It makes sense. Successful. I can see how climate change is fake. No, I'm just kidding. Okay. I've seen basketball. I get it. All right.
There's gonna be such a backlash if Biden wins that people are gonna fucking go back into their holes. I seriously believe
weird.
that it is gonna be weird.
If Biden wins,
All these Nazis the Nazis didn't win.
I'm gonna be incredibly surprised.
I'm gonna be incredibly surprised too because I don't really have a lot of faith in the system. But I did vote today.
You don't think it's gonna get dumped in the trash by a corrupt mailman?
Did you hear about that? They busted a fucking mailman doing that.
It was real?
Yes.
I figured that was all bullshit.
He had 9 garbage bags in front of his fucking house, the fucking idiot.
Oh, I thought
that motherfucker is going to... I hope he goes to prison for fucking 20 years for that shit.
I figured that was fake news. I didn't think that shit was real at all. That's really funny, dude.
Oh, yeah.
He was just like, I mean, this is where I put my leaves when I rake them.
There was a guy on David Hewlett's page where I was making fun of where I posted a political fact about this conspiracy theory. There's a conspiracy theory about how Biden murdered SEAL Team 6 to cover up the fact. And this guy goes, why don't you go tell the fucking family members from SEAL Team 6 about that? Tell them what? That you have a you want them to explain your masturbation fantasies for me?
Why don't you stop bringing in the innocent family of SEAL Team 6?
No, what if that guy was a comedian? What if that guy was a comedian? He's like, I want to dedicate my set to the murdered members of SEAL Team 6. And then he pours his drink on the fucking ground.
Gone too soon. So what's the deal with Bumble, right? The dating apps are just too
That's
much.
literally how a conservative set would go. That's literally like, what's up with dating?
I think
That's how conservative
honestly,
comedians sound.
I think honestly more than like even like minorities, because I would say for the most part most comedians have left-leaning views, especially successful ones. Even if they don't express them at all, you know what I mean?
Well, I think he has this is very weird. He has a conservative attitude when it comes to like the arts. I think like Norm Macdonald's a conservative guy, but he has a very left wing on stage. Not his politics, but his attitude about
towards the arts.
Yeah, like towards like anti-corporate. Like he goes to a roast and does clean jokes. Yeah. Like that's a very liberal attitude.
He's punk rock as fuck.
And that's how you got to be if you want to be creative. And that has absolutely nothing to do, and that means you can't have rules like political correctness. That's why Nick Mullen is a fucking genius. I can't believe I knew the show existed, but I barely listened to it. I've been listening to it a lot lately. That's fucking shit. I can't believe the shit he comes up with.
It's hilarious, right?
That's amazing.
It sucks.
And SNL, I can't believe SNL stole 2 bits.
That is crazy.
I don't know if we should have that separate.
Dude, did you know when you audition for SNL, you have to
sign over all your fucking shit.
Everything you use in the audition, they can. And like Dan Soder was talking about it when he auditioned. He did a character because like you come up with your own sketches more or less, and it's like a celebrity in this situation or this celebrity mixed with it, that kind of thing. And like literally they used one of his bits the next week.
Shit.
The week after he got denied, they were like, no, we're good. They used one of his bits. How much would that hurt, dude? I would never watch SNL again. Oh. I would be like, you fucking pricks. Like
they did it to Tig Notaro.
I mean, yeah, you sign it knowing that. I didn't know.
No, they didn't. She didn't sign over shit. They just stole a fucking short film she made and made a film version of it. And Opie and Anthony and Jim Norton thinks that they stole some of his Chip Chipperson stuff.
Word.
Yeah.
Shake that a little bit. It's dying, Daddy.
Yeah.
All right, we gotta get through this.
Yeah, we do.
Yeah, we're only 4 minutes in.
The people they're punching down on aren't actually, like, down, you know? Oh, I make fun of trans crazies, whatever, but that's because the whole media is obsessed with trans whatever, and they're actually all pedophiles, so it's really like I'm punching sideways at pedophiles.
Well, if you're punching sideways, that would make you a pedophile.
Is he saying trans people are pedophiles?
No, he's talking about how conservatives justify making fun of trans people. Conservatives don't really make fun of. Well, the one comic we were talking about, but I don't think he's really. I think he's just a libertarian. I don't know if that's kind of right wing, but he said he was voting for Biden.
Well, I think a lot of just people that aren't trying to use their platform to virtue signal at all, more or less. You know what I mean? The people that are in comedy to make jokes despite being dark probably don't like liberals or whatever because of how much of a pussy they can be about things that are jokes.
Yeah, but people who are woke comics on stage and stuff like that, and they're like, I can't make a joke about this, I can't make a joke about that. They're literally conservative. That's literally the definite. If you're at a party, if you're at a party and you're like, and you're not cursing at people and you're trying not to offend people, you're being very conservative.
They're gonna think you're a fucking narc. That's what it is.
Well,
Be
everybody
like,
thinks
you're
I'm a narc.
fucking narc. It's weird. I think, is that why you started wearing tracksuits all the time? You're like, undercover cops don't wear tracksuits. That's not a thing. That's never been done.
I grew a mustache just to lean in.
I know. That's one cool thing about the job I got is that whenever it gets cold again, I can grow my mustache back. Because, like, a couple of the restaurants I was looking at, they were, like, clean-shaven. Is their policy.
Dude, I don't know. See, I don't know if the thing about Amazon is they don't give you a lot of time. They put you on these timers, and I had to do that. So I don't know if you have time to think. But if you're, like, when I was at Caterpillar, dude, I wrote so much material.
Oh, yeah, no.
Because all you have is your brain.
Yeah, exactly. That's why I don't mind, like, work like that where I have to think for 15 seconds and then do a job. Man, you can take my body, but taking my mind, that starts to suck.
Or something like that, you know? Or they say, like, well, it's not punching down on black people because black people are, you know...
good fighters.
Unduly privileged by affirmative action and all these systems that have been...
They're from the streets.
Speaking of black people and good fighters, did you see that clip of that UFC fighter? He did, like, a crazy spinning back kick on this dude. Like, he did, like, a kick like this, and the guy, like, grabbed his leg, and the dude turned around, used the momentum of the guy holding his leg, jumped up, and just, like, spun kick him square in the fucking face and knocked the dude clean out. It was like some video game shit. It was crazy. But that's what I like to say. Like, talk all you want about punching down, but a lot of fights have been won with ground and pound.
Been put in place to infantilize them and blah, 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 blah. Yeah. And if you get called out and you say it's dark humor, which, and credit to the ContraPoints video, by the way, which ignores the fact dark humor isn't just being shitty at people.
Okay, here's where he's really
Dark humor
wrong.
is humor which usually attempts to sympathize with the conditions of misfortune.
Wrong!
Often misfortune you've experienced.
I looked this up. You can Google this. The origins of dark humor came from an anthology by Andre Breton. It was banned in France, but then it was republished, I think, in the 40s or 50s.
I thought you meant Andre Breton was a band in France. I was like, word, what they play.
That's a good name. That's a good band name, actually.
It was a ska band. They were early on their lines.
But they had in there is the Marquis de Sade, and the Marquis de Sade was all about punching down. Like, literally sticking your fist inside of children and, like, hammering nails with them. Like,
I
dude,
mean, we're making fun.
You want to talk about, dude, Matt, just every fucking scene is rape. And he writes it in this highfalutin, like, very funny prose. And that's dark humor. There's no rules about there's no specific rules about dark humor. Dark humor is just simply dark gallows humor. It's just jokes about abortions and shit like that.
Galileo? I'm sorry, I'm doing that. What was I going to say? Well, it's like this. You say it's making fun of, like, people, but you take making fun of people's tragedy, or you could say taking people's tragedy and making fun.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well, Marquis de Sade got off on it.
But he was all just like, listen.
He got sexually excited from murder.
Listen,
things like that.
Rape is a punchline.
Rape is not just a punchline. Rape is jerk-off material.
Rape? That would just be so funny. What kind of setup would make it rape, like just the word rape, any sort of kind of clever punchline? Like,
I've been saying for years there should be, like, instead of a weed comic, a 420 comic, there should just be the rape joke comedian, and he has like the leather mask and shit.
You've never seen that thing about the dude in South Africa It's like his whole thing. I think his name is like Basket Mouth or some crazy shit like that. But his whole thing is just like rape. Like it's totally cool.
Okay.
Like probably if you Google rape comedian or like African rape comedian, it'll definitely come up. And it's got a weird name. They did a whole little docu-series.
It's a fucking genre, a subgenre of comedy is African rape comedy.
Well, they did a whole like docu-series that was directed by the guy who directed the Sacha Baron Cohen movies and did the filming for that. And it's about dangerous comedy.
Comedy. Yeah. Larry Charles.
Yeah, and like, and that was probably the funniest one. The worst one was the one about dudes in the military because it was all just like hack, try hard, shock bullshit. And like, it was so bad. It would just be like.
It was a Borat where he's like, a woman run for political office. She got to fit a place behind a cat and Vladimir the rapist.
It's true.
But not just make fun of disprivileged people, you know? Dark humor isn't just like for example, dead baby jokes, okay? Dead baby jokes, nobody really gets offended by dead baby jokes.
Did I tell you about the new roommate? He found out that
A dead baby?
No, he found out that I do comedy and was instantly like, oh, I love dark jokes. I love dead baby jokes. And just tells me terrible dead baby jokes.
He has a bunch of dead baby jokes?
I mean, he does. I probably heard the same one 2 times and I couldn't even recite it because I don't care enough.
Oh, like why did the dead baby cross the road? Because somebody stapled him to a chicken?
No, the one, I think the setup is like, how many dead babies does it take to do something?
I hate to break it to you, Vaush, but somebody probably had a baby die.
Yeah, and they wanted...
Dead baby jokes are fucking offensive.
Yeah. I tried mine at Dive. It worked all right. I hadn't done it in a while.
What? You have a dead baby joke?
Yeah, I did it. Well, I wrote it when I first started for, like, one of the first shows I got booked on. That was all, like, offensive humor.
Yeah.
And so what's the worst thing about a dead baby?
What?
Having to return all those diapers, right? That's an awkward trip to Walmart.
I thought you were going to be
you
like...
think the cashier figures it out halfway through? Like, this is a lot of diapers.
I thought you were going to say the aftertaste.
That's bad. That's so hack and dry.
I don't know.
That's a Googled.
I'm not gonna do it on stage. I got one I made up though that I forgot to do for the Hodge twins. It's got nothing to do with dead babies.
Oh, okay.
You ever do a Tarantino on a chick?
What's that?
That's when you fuck her feet and scream the N-word.
Dude, honestly, I was thinking about that the other day. I was just like, I wonder if Tarantino's biggest fetish is feet yelling the N-word.
Fuck it up.
He just gets like googly eyes and like a Mr. Potato Head like smile and like tapes him to some girl's feet and it's just like, yell the N-word at me, yell the N-word at me.
Blows his load on her feet.
Thank you. Now I'm gonna go make Kill Bill 7. All right.
Except for like wine moms, they're just like a 13-year-old's go-to, like I'm edgy, whatever. Dead baby jokes aren't really dark humor, you know. It's just like
they're dead babies,
edgy, you know. But if you want to go further than that, like rape jokes or whatever, rape jokes generally aren't dark humor, you know. There are some rape jokes that are dark humor.
No, it's light
Most
humor.
rape jokes aren't dark humor. They're just making fun of rape.
Well, not really, but
yeah. But shock value is not dark humor. Those are two different things. Dark humor has to be a little bit, you know, a little intelligent, a little introspective. But these are things conservatives can't do.
But so, that's literally not the definition of dark humor.
And then we complete the circuit when the conservative fully comes to terms with the fact that their comedy is terrible. They go and become a millionaire right-wing grifter demagogue.
Well, I think
the
more offensive a joke is, the better it has to be.
Yeah, that's all I'm saying is that like shock jock bullshit. I think that I would hope that he would consider, because whenever it comes to shock jock bullshit, you're not even really going for like laughs. You're going for people to go, oh, that's funny, because you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it's not even supposed to. It's not fully even humor. I mean, like I think the best advice I ever got was early on. I had like a good set somewhere, and one of the comics was like, Gabe, you're getting really funny. Like, you've been writing a lot more, I can tell. And I was like, what's different? Like, was I not funny before? And he said, no, it just kind of seemed like you were just going for shock. And like him telling me that was everything I needed, because I would consider my comedy very dark. I make fun of homeless people and shit like that. Like, or at least I have jokes about homelessness that isn't like, they're dope. You know what I mean? So it's, I think that like the aspect of humor rather than just saying like trannies are gross.
Yeah, well, here's my rape joke.
The darker the idea or the topic, the smarter it has to be.
It took me a year to come up with this joke.
That's a good way to put it.
So
I would say.
So this girl I know, she had a whistle. I go, is that a rape whistle? And she says, yeah, Paul, it is a rape whistle. What happens is sometimes I'm out with a guy and I don't know, and if something comes up and a situation happens where I don't know if I can handle him. And what I do is I take this whistle and I blow it, and then my friends run over and hold him down while I rape him. So the joke is not on the rape. The joke is on society's expectations of who the victim is. So these jokes it's a lot more complicated than just saying.
My friends went over. I don't know if I've ever heard you fucking do
You
that joke.
I told that joke a bunch of times.
Logan
Logan loves that joke.
That's a funny, yeah. Did you have add on about like, I don't know what a rape whistle sounds like or something? There's somebody that has a really funny bit about seeing a girl with a rape whistle, and he's just like,
wait, what was that?
I feel like all the people that know what rape whistle sounds like are not the ones that you need, you know what I mean, are not the ones it's for.
I think that's the comic we were talking about.
Okay, probably.
Yeah, the more I said it, the stronger he got.
Yeah, it's the libertarian.
Yes.
Yeah, I knew that. I'll tell you after how I knew that. Because one time he took a stance of being pro-gun, anti-abortion.
Oh, he said he voted for Gary Johnson at one point on stage.
I didn't.
Stephen
It's a
Crowder,
setup. He has a
when he
setup
flubbed
for
out
it.
of comedy. See Dave Rubin. We saw some of his
Dave
delicious
Rubin is a
comedy
bad
on stream
comic.
just
Dave
like a
Rubin
week
is not
ago,
a
was
comic.
incredibly painful to look at, you know? That's the conservative circuit, you know? Conservative comedy is just like a roundabout circuit that leads people to getting propped up by billionaires to repeat the same talking points over and over and over again, sort of with the veneer of comedy, you know?
You know what? I don't like...
Well, then they're
You know
not
what I'm talking
comedians,
about, don't
bro.
you?
I don't like conservative comedy, but you know what I do like? Conversive comedy. Crowd work, right? It's great.
That's what Dave Rubin did. That's what he's referring to with the Dave Rubin thing.
I saw this clip of George Carlin talking about Dice and more or less just being like, I think he's going a little too hard on minorities. I don't think it's in good taste. I feel like if a lot of people saw that, they'd be like, what? Carlin would hate this shit. Which he would, because it's over the top.
I think The Day the Laughter Died is different than any other comedy album and anything he ever did. So I like Dice, but I got to stop this real quick.
Yeah.